flat out wild and crazy and asinine shit that racists in this country think they can get away with. So I'm going to read to you an excerpt from Kathleen Bellew's Bring the War Home. It's about how fascists and Klansmen and all types of other misfits engaged in violent acts of terrorism during the 70s and 80s and 90s. Highly recommend. Even though the author is a bit controversial, but what good is an author if they're not controversial? So, let's begin. The government also failed to take seriously the links between American mercenaries and the fascist movement. One example of this is the story of Operation Red Dog. On April 27, 1981, FBI and ATF agents arrested a group of 10 men on their way out of New Orleans. Authorities seized their cache of weapons and supplies. They had 8 Bushmaster automatics, 10 shotguns, 5 rifles, 10 handguns, 10 pounds of dynamite, 5,246 rounds of ammunition, Nazi and Confederate flags, the fascist newspaper National Vanguard, and various military manuals. Various military manuals. So I guess they were going to be reading about how to act when they landed on this small Caribbean island. I think it only had at the time 200,000 people living on it. So what the fuck is what the fuck are you gonna do with 10 fucking dudes? What are you gonna do with 10 dudes against 200,000 people? Mind you, Dominica was also part of the British Commonwealth, so I don't think the Brits would like that very much. When Reagan invaded Grenada in 1983, Margaret Thatcher chewed him out about it. So, you literally had big ass, boss ass Ronald Reagan apologizing to Maggie Thatcher because you can't just invade other people's countries like that. So they had all this shit. Investigation eventually revealed that the men were participants in a plan to send mercenaries by boat to the small Caribbean island of Dominica to overthrow the government there and set up a puppet regime that would funnel millions of dollars to the Klan in the United States. So the demographics of Dominica, pretty much the island is pretty much entirely black, okay? So they basically wanted to establish a puppet regime that, for whatever reason, a black puppet regime, like Papa Doc Duvalier in Haiti, that for whatever reason would pay the Klan money. Yeah, they didn't think this through very well. The would-be invaders of Dominica included Don Black, a high-ranking Klan leader of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. The organization, with chapters led elsewhere by Louis Beam and Tom Metzger, that had militarized on a national scale. The leader of the mercenaries, Michael Perdue, was, as one follower said, obsessed with the League of Nations thing. They use an A word that I don't think I can say on Twitch, but the Nazis liked it as well. A reference to the unifying white power movement, specifically to Aryan nations in Idaho, where Louis Beam had relocated after an injunction barred him from running paramilitary camps in Texas. 5 of the mercenaries had military training, and all but one had affiliations with U.S. or Canadian Klan and other fascist groups. One of them, Bob Mad Merc Pritchard, would later be diagnosed with PTSD from his harrowing tour in Vietnam, where he was shot twice and wounded a third time by the shrapnel of a rocket-propelled grenade. Excuse me. Pritchard had trained at a paramilitary camp run by Glenn Miller's Carolina KKKK, soon to be renamed the White Patriot Party, that was associated with the Klan and neo-Nazi shooting of communist protesters in Greensboro, North Carolina, in November 1979, and later with the large-scale theft of military weapons. Though their end goal was to funnel money to the Klan, likely to facilitate the war for which Klansmen had started to prepare, the Dominica mercenaries framed their actions as a defense of the United States from communism. Even though they sought the overthrow of a Dominican prime minister who opposed communism, they saw the island as ripe for takeover by either American or Soviet communist interests and claimed that they were working to forestall a Soviet victory. When they rented the boat for their mission, they claimed to be CIA operatives, and perhaps some even believed this to be the case. The first iteration of the plan revealed that Operation Red Dog mercenaries saw themselves as acting in the service of the American state. Though they quickly abandoned this plan for lack of manpower, they had hopes of invading Grenada. The Reagan administration itself would invade Grenada just 2 years later under more official auspices, but using a notably similar anti-communist ideology. Black frequently spoke of the similarity in rhetoric and objectives that he thought connected the Klan with the Reagan administration, always claiming that he had acted patriotically even when he broke the law. We were military advisors, and our purpose was to stabilize and secure the island against communists. Secure somebody else's territory against an ideology that you don't know anything about. If Dominica wanted to be communist, who gives a shit? This is just more of the arrogance of the children of Yaqub. You're going to invade an island that you know nothing about with 10 guys and a shitload of weapons that you stole from a military base, and you don't know anything about the place that you're going to go to. You want to establish like a fucking fascist Disneyland in the Caribbean. You think the 200,000 black people there would be like, okay with that? Oh yeah, we're going to accept the Klan. No. Black later told a reporter, had we been successful, it would have been in the best interests of the United States. Black's comment about Dominica echoed Reagan's talk of stabilizing and securing Grenada when referencing successful U.S. interventions. In other words, fascist mercenaries positioned themselves within a state ideology of covert action that itself constituted a form of paramilitarism. Indeed, while the Dominican mercenaries came from a variety of political, economic, and cultural backgrounds, they shared both intense anti-communism and deep identification with the Vietnam War story. Some had even served in Vietnam, while others fashioned their ideology around their participation in paramilitary combat. Group leader Michael Perdue falsely claimed Green Beret experience in Vietnam. He was convicted of petty theft and thrown out of the Marines long before he could be deployed overseas, and boasted of a long and fabricated record of mercenary combat in Uruguay, Rhodesia, and Nicaragua. Charged with violating the Neutrality Act, which prohibited American citizens from engaging in combat in countries with which the United States had not declared war, most of the 10 would-be mercenaries pleaded guilty. Of 3 who did not, only one walked free, 21-year-old Alabaman Michael Norris. Although Norris had been affiliated with both the KKK and the neo-Nazi group National Alliance prior to the Dominica attempt, his defense was gullibility. He claimed he didn't know any better and stumbled into mercenary action by accident. So yeah, the 80s were weird. I wasn't alive then, but from shit I've read, the 80s was fucking weird. You had a literal fascist in the White House. Like, people don't understand. Reagan wasn't just like a harmless old bumbling man with Alzheimer's. This was an ideological Cold Warrior. This guy literally oriented himself towards what he saw as the holy crusade against communism. He empowered people like that I just read about. He empowered all types of Christian dominionists. He empowered narco traffickers. Anybody that opposed communism, Reagan was your best friend. And he knew exactly what he was doing, okay? This guy was an actor, okay? So he was perfectly capable of playing the senile old man to get away with shit. Hence, Iran-Contra and why he did not go to jail, while Ollie North did. So,
when did that Dominica thing first crop up? Well, actually, it first cropped up back in 1970.
So this guy fancied himself a big sneaky operator Canadian, Wolfgang Draghi. I don't speak Kraut, but yeah, this was kind of like their ideological head or whatever.
I was contacted by him.
Yeah, that's pretty far back already.
Yes, I was contacted by a man named Michael Perdue, who was out of...
Okay, so they're talking about Perdue, the guy who literally posed as a Green Beret and a hard-ass mercenary despite being kicked out of the Marines. The thing with a lot of these people is that they valorize military experience, any type of military experience. If you wore a uniform at one time, regardless of whether you got thrown out for bad conduct, or even if all you did was shuffle papers and ride a desk, these guys will treat you as a sort of god.
Of Houston, Texas, who had met with at that time one of the prominent Klan leader in the United States, and they hatched up an idea to take over the country of Grenada. Perdue.
So why did America hate Grenada so much? Well, there's this guy named Maurice Bishop. He was the leader of a group called the New Jewel Movement. Let's hear some of his bangers. So this was delivered shortly after the revolution. This speech is titled "In Nobody's Backyard." So Maurice Bishop, rest in power, said that Grenada is a sovereign and independent country, although a tiny speck on the world map, just like Dominica. And we expect all countries to strictly respect our independence just as we will respect theirs. No country has the right to tell us what to do or how to run our country or who to be friendly with. We will not attempt to tell any other country what to do. We are not in anybody's backyard, and we are definitely not for sale. Anybody who thinks that they can bully us or threaten us clearly has no understanding, idea, clue as to what material we are made of. They clearly have no understanding or idea of the tremendous struggles which our people have fought over the past 7 years. Though small and poor, we are proud and determined. We would sooner give up our lives before we compromise, sell out, or betray our sovereignty, our independence, our integrity, our manhood, and the right of our people to national self-determination and social progress. Long live the revolution. Long live free Grenada. So this speech was delivered on the, I believe, the 15th of March, no, 13th of April, 1979. The revolution, or the Revo, as Grenadian comrades called it, was made on March 13th, 1979. So this was delivered a month after the successful seizure of power, basically a coup, by the revolutionary forces in Grenada, organized under the vanguard of the New Jewel movement. So why was there a revolution in Grenada? Well, you had this asshole, Eric Gary, who was a funny guy. They called him the Obeah because he literally believed that he was a witch doctor and he used it to scare people, kind of like Papa Doc Duvalier in Haiti did. So he had this gang of people, they were called the Mongoose Gang, that basically ran around and beat up and attacked and massacred Gary's political opponents. One of which was Maurice Bishop's father, who I believe was murdered in a most brutal fashion. Gary was also keen on squandering the national treasury on clothes for himself and cars and airplanes, basically like any other neocolonial despot. He also received training in the finer arts and subtleties of torture from none other than Augusto Pinochet in Chile. So, bad guy, needed to be overthrown. But America did not like that very much because Gary was a friend of the U.S., like most neocolonial despots are, and he was their guy. He was their anti-communist warlord. So they were not going to allow Grenada to remain under a Marxist-Leninist regime for long. And this is why I always tell people to avoid open sectarian squabbling, because what happened to Maurice Bishop was that he ended up being overthrown and murdered by people from within his own party, Hudson Austin and Bernard Cord, who had sort of a more ultra-left slash opportunist line that basically wanted to put the country under military dictatorship, which is exactly what they did. Maurice Bishop was beloved of the masses, and yes, his line was sort of here nor there, kind of iffy, but he was still a firm revolutionary cadre that loved his people, and he had no business being murdered, along with many of his comrades like Eunice Whiteman, his wife, and others. So that's what happens when you openly fight. This is what I'm afraid is going to happen in Bolivia, because you have forces that are loyal to Luis Arce, and you have forces that are loyal to Evo Morales, that are fighting in the streets and protesting against each other and trying to wage coups against each other. You can't do that because you already know that the United States wants your lithium. You already know that Elon Musk is plotting on your country. So you have to present a united front and remember where the primary contradiction is. The primary contradiction when you are a third world country is always Yankee imperialism, especially if you are in a part of the world that America considers its backyard. But of course, I am in no position to tell the Bolivian people what to do, but just from my own knowledge of history, what's going on in Bolivia is a very, very dangerous path that will eventually help open the door to open U.S. intervention, especially with our recently sworn-in president. Just my 2 cents.
One more country.
All that Caribbean travel wasn't just for fun and sun, it was also for business. With all these newly independent nations popping up on sparsely defended islands, the area...
This is also why this demonstrates the importance of like arming the masses. Gonzalo referred to it as the armed sea of masses. But you have to arm your people. Grenada down here actually did arm their people. They had people's revolutionary militias and stuff. But again, you're basically a mountain in the middle of the Caribbean. So if the United States throws this full-fledged military force at you, then really not all that much you can do. I don't think there's really been, well, I imagine Filipino comrades have their own internal documents about the struggles of waging war in an archipelagic country. Also, fun fact, Malcolm X's mom was from Grenada. She was from a little island called La Digue. It's up here somewhere. It's so small it doesn't even appear on a map. But yeah, all these countries, Barbados, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadalupe. Also, another fun historical fact: slave insurrections were all over these islands, especially Martinique. Um, all of these, Dominica, Martinique, Guadeloupe, like these are former French colonies. Um, Dominica still to this day speaks French Creole in many places. So, yeah, very interesting history. Very, very tinged with class struggle and the struggle of slaves against oppressors. So, very proud history.
Seemed ripe for the picking. Coincidentally, Grenada had had a communist coup in 1979, and this got a few white nationalists thinking. One of these nationalists was 30-year-old Mike Perdue, a homosexual truck driver known to dabble in stolen valor and breaking and entering. He tracked down the
Oh dear. Well, that's in the best Nazi tradition.
ousted Grenadian Prime Minister Eric Gary, who had been
Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about. He always wore these shades to like contribute to his witch doctor persona. Papa Duck did the same thing.
in San Diego at the time of the coup. Using the mercenary invasion of the Comoro Islands as a selling point, he devised a plan with Gary to get him back into power through a small show.
Wait, I did not know there was an attempted coup in the
Gary,
Comoros.
who had
Look at
been
that there.
in San Diego at the time of the coup. Using the mercenary
People just love fucking with
invasion
islands.
of the
Island invasion foiled by crowd. Comoros Islands. The Comoros Islands government sent 50 unarmed civilians by air Friday to invade dissident Mayotte Island and appealed to the United Nations to help avoid bloodshed. Reports from Mayotte, which voted to remain a French colony and not join the new Comoros Islands Federation, said the invasion was not a success. Reports from Mayotte in the Indian Ocean said attempts by the Comoros government to land a second airplane filled with armed soldiers failed because virtually the entire Mayotte populace gathered on the airfield to prevent any landing. French soldiers still stationed on Mayotte were holding the band of unarmed invaders, Comoros authorities said. The peaceful invasion followed the pattern of Morocco's peaceful march earlier this month of 350,000 civilians to take over most of the Spanish Sahara from Spain. In the Comoros peace flight, 50 unarmed civilians stepped out of the airplane on the airport at Sawidzi by dawn. They were led by Ali Solila, member of the Comoros Islands' new National Executive Council. The French did not fire upon the visitors, but they were more or less taken into custody, Comoros authorities said. Solila said he arrived to try to get Mayotte Island to join the rest of the archipelago between the island of Madagascar and Mozambique in East Africa. The islands, except for Mayotte, voted in 1974 to be independent from France. They unilaterally declared independence in 1975, calling Mayotte to ask protection from France. Well, sounds like an entire island of compradors.
The Comoro Islands as a selling point, he devised a plan with Gary to get him back into power through a small show of force.
So Perdue went to.
This is interesting. Like, normally I imagine that the Nazis would hate this type of guy. Like, anybody black that's the head of a sovereign country, no matter how shitty, like, you would imagine that the Nazis would hate this guy, but this shows that how fascists are able to adapt themselves. And, yeah, he's black, but he's our black. As FDR would say, yeah, he's a son of a bitch, but he's our son of a bitch, in regards to the fascist dictator that was in control of Nicaragua, Anastasio Somoza. Pretty shitty guy, but he was our shitty guy. So that's how these fascists are thinking. So, multiracial, multinational fascism. That's a thing. I believe I wrote an article on it a few years ago. But, like, don't just get in the habit of thinking, like, oh, fascism, white thing. No, because fascism is able, as George Jackson said, to reinvent itself, to reform itself, and to modify itself, because the intention of fascism is control. It's control. So, of course, fascists from the United States and Canada who despise black people, despise Asian people, they will support and they will help try to restore to power people who are from ethnicities that they dislike, because they see the continued existence and leadership of these incompetent individuals in their service, in the service of what they see as their country, in the service of their white supremacist project. So when we analyze fascism, we have to play AOE3. I might later. Guys telling me what to do. So when we analyze fascism, we have to keep in mind that it's fluid. That's why I laugh at people who are like, oh, Trump's not a fascist. Like, in what universe is he not a fascist? Because he's not walking around, parading around, goose-stepping everywhere and wearing a brown shirt every day. Fascism in every country has modified itself to the concrete conditions of the nation in which it exists. That's the thing. Like, if you're looking for old school Mussolini types or old school Hitler types, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because the American people would accept that. They will accept the Trump, though.
Went to visit the former Prime Minister of Grenada, Eric Gary, to see if he could get a contract to.
Well, he was deposed by that time.
Yeah, by that time he was deposed.
I see.
Yes. A communist government, or the present regime in Grenada is communist, and we were hoping to depose it.
He would organize the guns and men, and Gary would give them free reign of the countryside to do what they wanted. It was set. Perdue went to the only man he knew that had
That shows how fucked up these people like Eric Gary, these compradors are. That's why there's a revolution going on in the Sahel now, because they got tired of these fucking people who would do things like murder Thomas Sankara, who would continue to auction off their national resources and their entire economy to the French and the British and the Americans and whoever else wants a piece of the pie. Like, how are you going to invite a bunch of Nazis to invade your island and then give them free reign to run your country, like to just roam around the countryside and do whatever the hell they want to do? Like, this type of person has no business being a leader. But this is the type of person that America wants to be a leader. They do not want firm national revolutionary leaders like Thomas Sankara or Ibrahim Traore or Maurice Bishop. They don't want those people.
had power and influence enough to start the funding drive for this operation. David Duke. Duke had recently been kicked out of the
Remember him? Of course, everybody remembers him. You know, I find it hilarious how, like, other fascists, they cannot stand David Duke. They cannot stand this guy. Like, this dude was nearly elected to the United States Senate from Louisiana. And both the Republicans and the Democrats announced him. He was running as a Republican. But this guy, like, pretty heavy political operator. But other fascists cannot stand him. David Duke, electoral history. I believe he ran in 91. Yeah, so electoral history. So he ran as a Democrat in 75 for the Louisiana State Senate. He lost. He lost here. And in 1990, this dude, like, the Republicans literally endorsed this guy, J. Bennett Johnston. They endorsed the Democrat because they did not want it. But David Duke still got 607,000 votes for United States Senate. So he placed second. The Republicans literally had to endorse the Democrats because they did not want to be affiliated with an open Nazi. Again, note I said open. He was also a state rep. But yeah, they did not want that guy. Jungle primary. Ooh. But yeah, he's ran for office many, many, many times. But yeah, they can't stand this guy.
due to accusations
They can't stand this guy because they think he's a grifter. Well, he is a grifter.
that while he was Imperial Wizard of the KKK, he sold the member roster to a private source for $35,000, revealing both names and address.
The thing with fascism is that, yeah, they have an ideology, yeah, they have goals, but they're also like, they also are in the habit of just grifting off each other.
He was looking for something to put him back on the map, and this was just the thing. Knowing his notoriety in the States wasn't exactly going to help him recruit, he gave Perdue the number of the KKK's Toronto chapter and the number to Don Andrews, who had been known in the Western Guard circle. Don was immeasurably helpful in both his knowledge and his wealth. His life was bankrolled by passive income from his Toronto properties, and he rubbed elbows with people who would travel,
Of course, a fucking landlord.
back and forth
Landlords are the mass base of fascism.
to the Caribbean for business. He heard
Do I have an enemies list? Yes, and you're on it, Nahid.
from a friend, Arnie Poley, that Dominica was going through a rough period post-independence, and if they established a business front there, that would serve as a great launching off point for their Grenadian coup.
Our original aim was to overthrow the country.
Just
of
one
Grenada.
country.
One country of
I
Grenada.
want to get this straight. I'm losing track. I see. Okay, good.
So, but like, as I said,
So yeah, that's just a little bit of background. A bunch of Nazi grifters tried to, like, organize for whatever reason to invade Dominica. Anti-communist bullshit was their inspiration. That was why they wanted to do it. And of course, it didn't work. They all got arrested. That's why they called it the Bayou of Pigs. So in New Orleans, an admitted member of a mercenary band allegedly seeking to overthrow the government of Dominica says he was under the impression that the U.S. government might be sanctioning the plot. Okay, first of all, if the U.S. government is going to overthrow a country, they're not going to use people like you. I mean, yeah, we did see, like, the mercs in Venezuela that let themselves get captured by fishermen, but Venezuela was on their shit. But 9 times out of 10, they're not going to use idiots like you. Like, well, why would they? They've got their own people. Shit, they will literally go down to Grenada and arm some fucking potheads to raise hell on the streets. In Iran, they literally bought crowds that would go out and start shit and hold mass riots trying to overthrow Mohammed Mossadegh. They don't need you, bro. Michael Perdue, organizer of the mercenary band, didn't actually come out and say it, but he put the seed of suspicion in my mind that possibly the CIA might have been involved in this, Christopher Anderson testified Wednesday. Anderson and 6 other men have pleaded guilty to a single federal charge in connection with the alleged coup attempt. Don Black of Birmingham, Michael Stanley Norris of Tuscaloosa, and Joe Daniel Hawkins. What is it with white Southerners in 3 names? Well, I guess black Southerners do. Of Smith County, Mississippi, refused to plead guilty in a standing trial on 7 federal charges resulting from their arrest as part of the alleged raiding party. All 10 men were arrested in New Orleans and later were indicted by a federal grand jury. The government claims that at the time of their arrest, the 10 were about to board a boat for Dominica to initiate the takeover of the government of Prime Minister Eugenia Charles. Eugenia Charles actually helped the United States invade and hold Grenada after the overthrow of Maurice Bishop and the subsequent U.S. invasion. So this lady was not a communist. She was not a communist. But they wanted to ensure the restoration of the previous Prime Minister, Patrick John, who was a notorious crook. I also find it funny, like the Neutrality Act. So you can't go like overseas to fight for a foreign power against another foreign power that the United States is at war with. Is not at war with, rather. So why the fuck are there so many of us over there in Ukraine? Like, so is it all right for U.S. troops to be in Ukraine? Like, we're not formally at war with Russia. They're our enemy, of course. Well, they're not our enemy, but they are the enemy of the government of the United States. But we are not formally at war with Russia. So are all these guys over there in Ukraine fighting? Are they going to have to stay in Ukraine, or are they going to be arrested as soon as they hit U.S. soil? Very interesting. So these guys were charged with conspiracy to break the law, plotting the invasion of a country friendly to the United States, and 5 violations of federal firearms and explosive laws. Anderson testified Wednesday that Perdue, who pleaded guilty in the case, and testified Tuesday against Black, Norris, and Hawkins. Ooh, snitch, lovely. Another thing that fascists do is that when they're caught, they always snitch on each other. There is no honor among fascists. He testified Tuesday against Black, Norris, and Hawkins, and he said that the operation was not sanctioned by any U.S. agency. So the guy who was supposed to be leading this shit, he turned snitch and told all his boys. Perdue did say that he had a friend in the U.S. State Department in New Orleans. Anderson said during the 3rd day of the trial that when he first met Perdue in February, he answered an advertisement in Les Mercenaries, a newsletter for soldiers of fortune. So you guys are supposed to be professional mercenaries, but like you're all a bunch of fucking hicks from Mississippi and Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I wouldn't hire you all to overthrow a fucking ant colony. So he said Perdue flew him to Houston to discuss what they're going to do. He told me we were going to overthrow the government of Dominica, a small Caribbean island that had 80,000 blacks. Jesus, I thought they had more people than that. He quoted Perdue as saying that I would like to have a bloodless coup, but who knows what could happen. Anderson said Perdue told him at one time that if they encountered any police, he would take care of them. This comment was made as the group that was headed for New Orleans, and he knew that the operation must be illegal, but it was kind of late. So why did they do this? Black said that they joined the group primarily to fight communism in the Caribbean, and that he did not know the group's mission violated U.S. law. So you didn't do your research. So you're going to just put a bunch of rednecks on a boat and invade Dominica, a country that most of them had never even heard of. Like the judge in this case did not even know how to pronounce Dominica. But so you're going to invade a country you've never even heard of, and you're not going to even do research. Like, you think that you could just hop on a boat and invade somebody else's shit? Never mind a member of the British Commonwealth. I wouldn't hire these people to overthrow an ant colony. John Ersberg, a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, testified that on the night of April 27th, he not only saw a number of firearms being loaded into a van, but he saw Black carrying a shotgun out to the vehicle. Osberg went undercover to meet with Perdue after Michael Howell, captain of a 52-foot boat, contacted federal agents. So why are you're just going around hiring random people you don't know anything about for your LARPer mission? Like, these people are amateurs. Again, I say for the 3rd time, I would not hire these people to invade a fucking ant colony. How the fuck? Like, mercenaries used to be smart. Most of these people nowadays are just meatheads, roided up meatheads that think that they can just go somewhere and kill people. Like, what, bro? You're going to hire, like, where's your trusted boat captain? Like, where did you don't know anything about this guy? Did you just scroll through the fucking phone book and be like, boat captain, I'm going to hire him to take me to Dominica, and I'm going to load his boat up with illegal weapons? Come on. During Osberg's testimony about guns, explosives, and other items allegedly seized when the men were arrested, he held up a fascist flag, a Confederate flag, and a swastika flag he said he found among the men's personal belongings. Osberg said he did not know to who these flags belonged. In all, 7 of the men arrested have current or past connections to the KKK or neo-Nazi groups. Black is still the national head of the Knights faction of the KKK, the KKKK, and Norris and Hawkins were reportedly once Klan members. Osberg testified that he posed as a crewman on the boat, met with Perdue, Howell, and Walter Wolfgang Dröger on several occasions to discuss the crew attempt. Osberg said Dröger, who was arrested on April 27, told him the group planned to build a cocaine manufacturing plant at Dominica. He testified that Perdue told him that the Mercenaries' mission was to supply men and equipment to the Dominican army and the local people and to assist them in a coup. He said that Perdue told him when they were at sea headed for Dominica, if we were approached by a U.S. Coast Guard vessel, we were to immediately dump all of these guns, ammunition, explosives, and military equipment overboard. Why don't they have a Nazi flag and a CSA flag? Because they were fucking Nazis, that's why. He said local people in Dominica were going to back Mr. Perdue. Mr. Perdue and his men were going to take over certain government facilities before daylight and then quietly slip into the wilderness so that it would appear that Patrick John and his supporters had taken control themselves. This is a Far Cry villain is more incompetent. Those fucking cultists in Far Cry 5 are more competent than these people. They actually took over a whole county that I imagine was roughly the size of Dominica. So this is a New York Times article. See, the judge didn't even know how to pronounce Dominica, and it was called the Bayou of Pigs for short. So they plan to join black terrorists and disgruntled soldiers in taking over the small, poor Caribbean island of Dominica and setting up a drugs, gambling, and offshore banking empire. This guy that they're talking about, Patrick Johns, he was not left of center. Fascists were not that. Okay, this shows how the New York Times is always full of shit. They have always been full of shit. You cannot trust anything that the New York Times writes. So these people are Klansmen, neo-Confederates, all types of trash like that. Why the fuck would they back a left-of-center prime minister to establish what's basically Cuba before the revolution? So you can tell that this was written at the height of the Cold War. This guy that they were trying to reinstall, Patrick Johns, from what I understand, he was basically Eric Gary. Like, no left of center prime minister would turn over their island to a bunch of fascists to make cocaine. Yeah, we're just going to flood your island with fucking drugs. Yes, fuck the New York Times. It always sucks ass. Ron Paul was also involved, apparently. A lawyer tried to subpoena him to testify. And honestly, I never liked Ron Paul. He had too many fucking iffy ass connections. He had too many fucking weird motherfuckers that were backing him up. I never liked Ron Paul. A lot of people that eventually went for Bernie did love Ron Paul, but I never trusted this guy. Trust no settler. That's my philosophy. So a lawyer tried to subpoena him to testify in the trial of Don Black. Black was charged with along the other 2 Klansmen with planning to violently overthrow the government of Dominica in Operation Red Dog. And of course, a judge refused to subpoena Paul and his buddy Connolly, the governor of Texas, John Connolly, the guy that was sitting next to JFK when he got shot. Well, the former governor of Texas. And, of course, he has never made a statement denying that he didn't know anything about it. So Perdue, of course, the snitch, set him up, and he was almost subpoenaed, but for whatever reason, he was spared from this. And then Paul would once again be tied to this guy. Don Black also started Stormfront, the old fascist site. Yeah, he helped start that. So this guy's been around. So Don Black, the Stormfront guy, also donated $500 to the presidential campaign of Ron Paul, and Paul refused to give it back. Paul was also photographed with Don Black and his son by David Duke's former assistant, Jamie Kelso. Let's see if we can find the picture. The picture will not appear. But yeah. See, this is why I never liked Ron Paul. He's a A piece of shit. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he knew about it. So yeah, I'm familiar with the New York war crimes. Really cool. I have been ordered to play Age of Empires 3, but yeah, honestly, uh, this is like the fucking Three Stooges plot a coup. Like you're working with people you know nothing about. Of course, you're going to be riddled with informants. You're going to be riddled with people who are gonna. You're going to be riddled with people who are going to fucking snitch on you at the first opportunity. Why? Because Americans have a fucking hard on for law and order. That's why. Of course, most Americans, white Americans especially, are some varying degree of fascist. But yeah, come on, bro. I thought these people were supposed to be smart. Actually, I've never thought that fascists are smart. So I've been ordered to play Age of Empires 3. Why not? Maybe I could play it. Yeah, I think I'm going to play as a Caribbean map. See how easy it is to invade Dominica. Yes, I also hate libertarians. Rip Curly. Would have shot all the Nazis in the back. Probably. You know, the Three Stooges were Jewish, so yeah, I don't think any of them would have been very keen on Nazis and their friends. I love how this game basically, like, for you to win in sandbox mode, you basically have to commit genocide against the opposing. Like, you have to hunt down all the civilians and shit. I bet Israelis love this fucking game. Who should I play as? I hate the Dutch. Their language is just too fucking ugly. The Turks? They did add more non-white people for you to play. You could play as the Ethiopians, the Hausa, the Inca, Indians, Japanese, Chinese, Aztecs, Mexica. Come on, you all tell me who I play with. Play as. Aztecs, British, Chinese, Dutch, Ethiopians. We have a serious problem. Germans. I never play as the Germans. Fuck the Krauts. French, Ethiopians, Haudenosaunee, Hanawaga. The Holy Roman Empire, that's the Germans. Lakota, Maltese. The Maltese, you got people that didn't even have colonies. The Maltese didn't have any fucking colonies. They were a colony. Swedes, United States. Fuck it. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his toe. If he hollers, let go. Mexicanos. Yeah, I'll play as the Mexicans. Why not? Soy Afro-Mexicano. Wow, look at that beautiful home city. You got a ruined pyramid over here. The Chinese did not have colonies. Yeah, all right. Ooh, an uncharted, mysterious wilderness.
Atención, avancen, marcha ya. Orden, avancen.
Hola.
A la batalla, marcha ya, avancen. A la batalla. Mande,
This
presidente.
food tastes good.
Marcha ya.
You can be certain I won't be sharing it with you.
Leg mich im Arsch, Kartenschwein.
Sí.
¿Cuál es la orden? Cazadora.
The only thing I know how to tell someone in German is eat my ass.
Sí. ¿Cuál es la orden? Sí, leñador.
I will fix that. Also, keep a lookout for my video on communist ethics, which will be coming out this weekend, I believe. I don't have an editor and all that. I have to do all my editing by myself. Oh, I did not know that the Knights of St. John, aka the Maltese, were given islands in the Caribbean. I guess they never really settled them, though.
Constructora.
It's fascinating.
Sí, estoy en camino.
I learn something new every day.
Cazadora.
Mande presidente a la batalla. Marcha ya a la batalla. Marcha ya.
What are these Shaolin monks?
Sí.
Huh. Guess we're somewhere in Asia.
Leñadora.
Los mexicanos han colonizado a Asia. The only communist ethics you need is the Black Book of Communism. Sí, tienes que jugar Edad de Imperios.
Atención. Órdenes.
There's a Honduran dude at my job. He's always trying to speak Spanish with me. Like, this guy speaks no fucking English. And I'm like, bruh. Like, I literally have to get in Spanish mode. But it's nice to practice, though. That's how you learn. Alhondiga de Granaditas. Yeah, I can't wait for Civ 7 to come out. I'm just playing the same old shit over and over.
Mande presidente. Mar a la batalla. Marcha ya.
Shaolin monks. Eh,
Sí,
it's a process.
así será.
¿Cuál es la Así será. Estoy en camino.
Yeah, learning any language is a process. Don't ever feel bad.
Hola. ¿Sí? Granjera. ¿Cuál es la orden? Granjera.
Sí,
Sí. Estoy en camino. Así será. Granjera.
Okay, I like these little fucking haciendas. They hold 20 gatherers, and they can also feed animals. Interesting.
Órdenes.
Órdenes.
A la batalla.
The top right score is basically just like how many points have you accumulated. You
even
accumulate.
I am slightly surprised that you have been so poor at collecting treasure.
Look, you accumulate points through killing enemy soldiers, burning
A la
buildings.
batalla. Atención.
See, like I just earned 6 points. Collecting treasures to hit like that.
Órdenes. Avancen. A la batalla. Marcha ya.
¿Cuál es la orden?
Necesitamos construir un mercado.
Constructora.
Mande presidente. A la marcha ya. Avancen.
I'm just going to do a stream in nothing but my horrible Spanish one of these days. I don't know. If you got attacked by a wolf, I don't think you would care whether it whimpered or not. You just want him dead. Never met a wolf, but I imagine they're not the nicest of creatures.
Atención. A la batalla.
Cheyenne.
Mande
So you've
presidente.
got Cheyenne indigenous people, and you've got You stupid crowd. You've got the Cheyenne and you've got
Marcha ya.
Shaolin monks on the same continent. Maybe this is a parallel universe where the Chinese and the indigenous people did meet. Very fascinating.
Sí. Estoy en camino.
Durango, Chiapas, Michoacán, Carretero, Tlaxcala. I think I want to do Chiapas. Viva las Zapatistas.
Atención a la batalla.
Aztec Neo-Confucianist Empire.
Avancen. Por la patria.
For the motherland.
Órdenes. A la batalla.
Thoughts on Ban Empanada? I'm honestly of the opinion that dude has lost his mind. But
Avance. Marcha ya.
his stuff is still quite educational. I just think the dude is fucking nuts. He is a different person when he's making his videos than when he's on Twitter. I don't think he's like inherently bad or anything. I just think dude is fucking weird. But we're all fucking weird. All content creators are fucking weird. Do I play Hearts of Iron? Sometimes. I'm not confident enough to stream it yet, but yeah. I fucks with it.
A la batalla.
Yes, he is nuts, and that is why we all love Ban Empanada. I don't like the video that he did on the fucking the video that he did on El Partido Comunista del Peru is absolute ass. But yeah. I don't have any like
Is expanding with your claiming of that trading site.
yeah. I don't have any beef with the guy as he is.
Atención.
Everybody has their quirks.
Marcha ya.
Vamos a tener alianza con los taínes.
Hola.
Hola.
Amén.
Amén.
Así sea.
¿Cuál es la orden?
Colección de libros. If I play Hearts of Iron, I will develop a pair of cat ears and a tail.
Granjero.
Bold how you presume that I don't already have a pair of cat ears and a tail. Why do you think I always wear this hat? I have to hide my ears.
Granjero. Sí.
Mande.
Es tiempo de construir un catedral.
Amén.
Let's see when Olayemi Olurin went mask off liberal. Look, everybody has the right to their own opinions, but yeah. You should know better. As a content creator, you have a kind of responsibility. Really?
Ataca.
Racist ass crowd. Leave the Mexicans alone. Germans just can't help but slaughter civilians.
¿Cuál es la orden? Sí.
Yeah, get out of here, you pasty bastard. Ha!
Granjero.
This is your weak ass
Así será.
Kraut cavalry. Ulan.
¿Cuál es la orden? Constructor.
¿Cuál es la orden? Constructora.
Mande
Es necesario construir un ejército.
Atención.
Yeah, Bandit Banana does fight fire with fire, but also he's also in habit of like starting weird shit for no reason. Alright, you guys don't have to dig into dirt like savages anymore.
Sí. Estoy en camino. Granjera.
¿A dónde nos dirigimos? ¿Listo para pelear? Sí.
Really? You've got guys armed with pickaxes and... Bruh. That is totally not stereotypical at all.
¿Órdenes? ¡Ataca! ¡Marcha ya!
Comandante, ándale.
Chairman Gonzalo was so sexy. You like who you like.
Mande órdenes. ¡Avancen! Sí, ¿cuál es la orden? Constructor.
You've been told you look like
Sí.
Chairman Gonzalo.
Hola. Sí.
What are my thoughts on the current state of the Bolivarian Revolution and the administration of Maduro in Venezuela? Well, I wouldn't consider the Bolivarian revolution a proper revolution, since there is still a bourgeoisie in Venezuela, but I definitely think it is a series of very correctly guided reforms, but I wouldn't call it a revolution, because the ruling class, the old bourgeoisie, is still pretty much in power in Venezuela. You cannot have a non-violent revolution.
Será. Estoy en camino.
I believe I've said that every time I have spoken publicly.
Granjera.
But
Hola.
again, it's not my business to meddle in the Venezuelan revolutionary process. Hopefully one day there will be an actual revolution in Venezuela that completes the tasks that were laid out by Comandante Chavez. But again, that is the business of the Venezuelan people, not for my Yankee ass.
¿Cuál es la orden?
I do definitely think that it is our job as Americans to
La orden.
keep our country off these fucking people and let them develop. Otherwise, there is no question of revolution or a socialist construction process, because they have to constantly be on their guard against Yankee imperialism. So yeah. There's levels to this shit. Sinaloa. Coahuila. Do I have thoughts on Claudia Sheinbaum? From what I've seen, she has a very good regime aesthetic. I did not know that Mexico City had like these Aztec futurist buildings. I've never been there. But every time she gives a speech, she is right in front of this huge ass glass pyramid. It's really dope. But in terms of her her policies,
Estoy en camino.
definitely really good at meeting fire with fire. Yeah, I fucks with Claudia Sheinbaum. Apparently, the Communist Party of Venezuela has broken with Maduro due to neoliberal reforms in Venezuela. Well, that's not all that surprising. But again, I'm not one of those Maoists that's like people's war everywhere. Like, there has to be a material basis for the fucking people's war, otherwise there's not going to be one. Are you really a revolutionary if you get voted in? I wouldn't call Allende a counter-revolutionary. Like, he definitely had revolutionary principles. He wasn't an enemy of the people or anything, but the revolutionary process in his country was not all that secure, and he really didn't arm the masses. So, what ended up happening? He ended up being overthrown. George Jackson predicted this. Have I watched Speak No Evil? No, I have not. What is it about?
Constructor.
Sí. Constructora. Hola.
There's so much fucking shit I gotta watch.
Sí, así
There's
será.
so much shit I gotta read. How do we defend against revisionists after the revolution? You guys gotta read the Marxist-Leninist Maoist basic course. It answers all of these questions. But I will give you a clue.
Hola. Amén.
It rhymes with slarm the asses, arm the masses, and wage constant cultural revolution to uproot the new bourgeois class that will undoubtedly take over if you relax your vigilance. That is how you protect the revolution from revisionism.
Constructora.
I saw
But
my
even then-
nation scattered, forgetful of my counsels. I plead to my allies' help.
Oof. You going through it, buddy.
Sí. Granjero.
Hola. ¿Sí? Así será. Gran.
Where's your army, Hiawatha?
Sí. Granjera.
Hola.
Yes, there is a Marxist-Leninist Maoist. I guess, well, I wouldn't call it a syllabus. The basic course. I'm pretty sure I've referred comrades to it on many occasions.
Nombre del Padre. Sí. Granjero.
¿Cuál es la orden?
¿Cuál es la orden?
¡Listo! Sí, entendido, mi comandante.
Do I have a link to it? Yes. Because you guys are too lazy to look up shit for yourselves, I will help you. There you go. You lazy bastards. There you go.
Hola. ¡Saquen a los invasores! Que así sea. Amén. En el nombre del Padre.
Wood from the tall
Que así
trees brought
sea.
low for our use.
Sí, leñador.
With that little bitty ass army, I ain't paying nobody a visit. You have to develop our productive forces, comrade. Let's not engage in ultra-leftism.
Sí. Leñadora.
Sí, sí. Granjero.
Mande. Hola. Amén. Mande. En el nombre del Padre. Amén. Por nuestra libertad.
You have a crush on an old man. How lovely.
Marcha ya. Avancen.
Shoot the bear, you fucking idiot. There you go.
Por nuestra libertad. Que así sea.
I'd save Hiawatha, but I think this would be the opportunity to teach him a really, really good
We
lesson.
are being driven back. Our cause may be lost.
No, your cause may be lost. You stupid fuck. They just don't make good allies these days.
Hola.
Like, if you want to let the Germans come and push your shit in, that's on you, but quit trying to drag me into it.
Sí.
I should not be the only one of my allies that has actually bothered to build an army.
Mande. En el nombre del Padre. ¿Cuáles son mis blancos? ¿Quién busca salvación?
No, why not? I'll save your ass. Why are you asking asking me my thoughts on other content creators? I'm only fighting the Sepoys because they're a bunch of compradors. Abandon your alliance with Yankee fucking British imperialismo.
Mande. Que así sea.
Hola. ¿Cuál es la orden? Granjera.
¿Quién busca salvación? Mande.
¿Listos para disparar? ¡Sí!
By the spirits of the water, our foes conspire to murder us all.
No shit. That's why they're enemies.
Amén.
What are you going to do about it besides whine and depend on my army? This is Age of Empires 3. Some younger Zoomer comrades may not remember it. It came out when I was a wee bairn.
Mande.
I only play the old Age of Empires. The new one is ass.
¿Quién busca salvación?
¿Cuál es la orden?
Alright. Time to build a second army.
Sí. Sí.
Sí. Hola. Constructora.
Sí. Así será.
Hola. Mande. Abajo con los opresores.
Down with the oppressors. That's right, the brown people have cannons. What you gonna do? We're just passing through. Stop shooting at us.
¿Quién buscas que así sea? Amén.
Saludar, ya. Sí.
Hola.
¿Cuáles son mis blancos? Listo. A la marcha.
I'm playing Age of Empires as the Mexicans.
Granjero.
If you oppose me playing Age of Empires and you are an imperialist that does not want a black man to have an empire.
¿Cuál es la
Sí.
orden?
Hola. Sí. Leñadora.
The skill and wiles of our enemy have taken
Shut
us,
the
routed
fuck
us,
up.
and destroyed us. We cannot win.
Wham, wham, wham. We'll quit then. Fuck. I'm carrying us anyways. Do I have a list of book recommendations? Yes, it's on my Medium. I love how people ask me for book recommendations and they never read the damn books.
Saludar. Listo. Saludar.
Look at me, I'm learned, I'm smart. I'm asking a guy for book recommendations that I'm never gonna read.
Comandante, entendido, mi comandante.
准备就绪，出发！攻击！开战！是的。好的。Listo para pelear.
Ready to fight.
Atención. A la batalla.
The cold breath of fate flies to us. I cannot see how we can win.
Oof. You getting your shit pushed in, buddy.
Que así en el nombre del Padre. Que así sea.
As an American, I do believe I owe reparations to Hiawatha. I will save him.
Hola. ¿Cuál es la orden? Leñadora.
My country destroyed your people
¿Quién busca salvación?
as a political entity. I will help you, although you seem quite beyond help now, buddy.
Órdenes. Marcha ya. Avancen.
Mande. ¿Quién busca salvación? Por nuestra libertad. Abajo con los opresores. salvación. Amén. Mande. En el nombre del Padre. Que así sea.
Saludar, ya. Como saludar. A la marcha. Sí.
Sí. ¿Cuál es la orden? Leñadora.
Hola. Amén. En el nombre del Padre. Que así sea. ¿Mande? Amén.
Listo. Entendido, mi comandante.
Hola. En el nombre del Padre.
Have I read Nkrumah's Handbook of Warfare? Yeah. I think I gave it to a comrade.
Comandante. A la marcha.
¿Mande?
Saludar, ya.
Listo, en camino. No se lo van a esperar.
Comandante.
¿Cuáles son mis blancos?
¿Quién busque que así sea?
Sí. Constructora.
Sí. Constructor.
Hola. Constructora.
I faint in the harder struggle.
Granjera.
Feel a looming darkness over our hope.
I don't want to ever have to be bothered with this fucking working doomer motherfucker again. I do not. I refuse.
Sí.
Sí. Constructora.
Sí. Estoy en camino. ¿Cuál es la orden? Granjero.
Hola. ¿Cuál es la orden? Leñadora.
Hey, bison. Guerrero.
Sí. Leñador. ¿Cuál es? Sí. Granjero.
¿Quién busca salvación?
Atención. Mande, presidente. Marcha ya.
The cold breath of fate flies to us. I cannot
Bruh, if
see
you
what we
whine
can
one
do.
more time, I will destroy you myself. Oh, wow. That wasn't very nice. Maybe black people are settlers. Jeez.
¿Cuál es la orden?
Constructora.
Cantina.
Listo. Entendido, mi comandante. Sí, a la marcha.
There's no such thing as a Stalinist. What the fuck is a Stalinist?
Así será.
You wanna execute all your friends? Pretty shitty, bruh.
Sí. Leñador.
Oh, you're Pakistani. That explains everything. I kid. Don't cancel me.
Saluda. Entendido, mi comandante.
¿Mande? En el no que así sea.
¿Cuál es la orden? Granjero.
Hola, estoy en camino. Granjera.
Sí. Granjero.
Comandante. Sí.
Estoy listo.
¿Cuál es la orden? Granjera.
Listo, a la marcha.
Hola. Leñadora.
Sí. Sí.
Hola. ¿Quién busca salvación? Que así sea. ¡Saquen a los invasores!
The enemy has has enough buildings to claim victory. We must conspire to prevent this.
Por nuestra libertad.
¿Cuál es la leñadora?
Hola, mande. Abajo con los opresores.
¿Cuál es? Sí, así será. Estoy en camino. Granjero.
Amén.
I faint in the harder struggle, feel a looming darkness over our hope.
Sí, leñador.
Kaka, Kegis. Klatawa.
I don't need y'all. Who ironically recommended people to vote for Trump?
Saludar, ya.
I voted for Jill Stein, which was basically a vote for Trump if you listen to the fucking liberals. Oofda.
The pursuit of wealth brings with it only greed. That trade site was a bad influence.
En el nombre del Padre.
These Indians are being a real pain in the ass this game.
Hola. Que amén. Que así sea.
是，出发。遵命。开战。准备就绪。 取消命令。
Mande. Por nuestra libertad. En el nombre del Padre. ¿Quién buscas que así sea?
¿Órdenes? ¡Avancen! ¡A la batalla! ¡Avancen!
Comandante, sí.
¿Cuál es la orden? Constructor.
Hola. Constructora. ¿Cuál es la orden? Constructora.
Mande. En el nombre del... ¡Saquen a los invasores! ¿Quién busca salvación? Que así sea.
Ah, you're finally going to join DSA.
Sí.
Sí, así será.
Excelente.
Leñador.
Saludar, ya. A la marcha.
Sí.
¿Cuál es la orden?
Sí, leñador. Constructor.
Hola. Leñadora.
Sí, estoy en camino.
La industrialización de México.
Comandante.
Comandante.
Hola.
There we go. Now we've got an industrial powerhouse.
Flies to us. I cannot see how we can win.
Bro, shut the fuck up. Damn. Oh, we're all going to die. I cannot go on any longer. Well, then just roll over then. Roll over and let yourself get fucked. You should really be able to allow yourself to declare war. They should really let you declare war on your allies in this game. Fucking useless. Couple mortars.
Atención, marcha ya.
¿Quién buscas? Amén.
Saludar, ya. Listos para disparar. Listos.
Listos para disparar. Destruir.
Oof.
Listo.
That's hecka problematic, bro.
Comandante, saludar, ya. Ataca. Comandante, sí. Listo. A la batalla.
Mande. Que así sea.
Saludar, ya. Ataca. A la batalla. Por la patria.
How the hell are they only in age 2? Because they haven't developed their economy. And they let the Germans fuck them up early up in the game.
Ataca.
Leave my trading posts alone. If you don't develop your economy in this game, you can't develop better units. If you can't develop better units, then your enemies will develop good units, and you're gonna be fucked. Yeah. Poor Hiawatha.
Hola.
And I just lost the whole fucking... Oh, you bastards. They want that trading post so fucking bad, but they're not gonna get it.
Comandante. Listo, a la marcha.
See what happens when you defend yourself? Instead of just sit and whine about, we have been defeated. There is nothing more we can do.
Listos para disparar. Así será. Comandante. Sí. Así será. Listos. Así será.
I'm going to fold these Cheyenne in with this second army. Well, not much of an army anymore. We have to rebuild. Some cavalry.
Listos para disparar. Sí.
Yeah. Gonna give you a whole bunch of artillery. You have no excuse.
¿Quién busca salvación?
Asehi. Asehi.
Oje.
Usakaga. Tahne. Asehi.
¿Cuáles son mis blancos?
Stupid fuck, you want an artillery duel.
Saludar.
¿Cuál es la orden?
Sí. Leñadora.
Listos para disparar. Sí. Listos.
Hola. ¿Quién busca salvación?
Sí.
Hola. Mande. En el nombre del Padre. Que así sea. ¿Quién busca salvación? Amén.
They always come like the same fucking way. Like, be less predictable. I know you gotta come along that fucking rail route.
¿Cuál es la orden? Sí.
That's why I've got all my boys stacked up on it.
Leñador.
There's nothing more you can get out of that tree.
Sí. Así será.
No, the trains actually don't hurt people when they run them over. They should, but they don't. Oh, you've got a big fuck-off cannon. That's not going to help you.
Listo. A la marcha.
¿Quién busca salvación? Amén.
Fuck you and your big fucking cannon. Es tiempo para revolución. Alright, think it's finally time to settle the contradiction with these motherfuckers. Yeah, we through. Texas.
Yes, I'm going now. I'll do it. Right.
That does not sound like any Texan I know. But whatever.
Right. I'm ready. Yes.
I have never met a Texan that sounds like that. Oh, you're sending a few people over there. How nice. I think it's time we start fighting these motherfuckers. I'm tired of just sitting here waiting to get attacked.
What is your command? I'm ready. Right. To battle! Attack!
Saludar, ya.
Hola.
Listo, entendido. A la batalla.
Enemies swarm like bees in my town. Too many to fight with.
Por la patria. Ataca.
¿Quién busca salvación? En el nombre del Padre. Amén. En el nombre del Padre.
Yeah, I'm sick of these krauts.
Yes, I'll do it.
Hola.
Comandante. A la batalla. Por la patria. Sí.
¿Mande?
Comandante, así se ataca. Saludar, ya. A la batalla, comandante. Ataca.
Sí. Sí. ¿Cuál es la orden? Estoy en camino.
Listo. Saludar, ya. A la batalla. Por la patria. Listo, a la marcha. Ataca. Comandante, a la batalla. Por la patria. I am wounded. Listo, ataca. Por la patria. Ataca. A la batalla.
That'll cripple the bastards enough.
Ataca. Recordado para siempre. Listo. A la batalla. ¿Cuáles son mis blancos?
Bastards got hurt a little bit.
Comandante, entendido, mi comandante. Listo.
Let's fix the mess these krauts made.
Comandante, a la marcha. Listo. Comandante. Saludar, ya.
1,
Listos, sí. Listos.
2.
I'm ready. Right. I'll do it.
¿Cuáles son mis blancos?
Yes, I'm going now. What is your right? I'm ready. I'll do it.
Gatling guns. Yeah, you finna be ate up, buddy.
I'm going now.
Right away.
Listo. Saludar, ya. Listo. Entendido, mi comandante. Comandante, así será. Comandante, sí.
Yes, right.
What is your right?
I'm ready. I'll do it.
Yes, I'm going now. What is your... I'm ready. Yes.
Saludar, ya.
Yes, I'm going now. Yes, I'll do it. I'm going now.
Listo. A la marcha.
What is your command?
Saludar, ya. Sí.
I'm ready.
I guess that's what Austin, Texas kind of looks like.
¿Cuáles son mis blancos? Listos. Sí.
I notice I haven't seen any more fuckboys to attack me.
Enemies swarm like bees in my town. Too many to fight without help. What is your right? I'm ready. I'm going now. Right. Yes, I'm going now.
Listo. A la marcha.
is your right? I'll do it.
¿Listos para disparar? ¡Listos! Comandante.
I'm ready.
Listo. Entendido, mi comandante.
I am. You're not shot. The Libertarian candidate had connections to the KKK media who tried to create an Ancapistan out of Dominica. Like, did they not take into account, like, what the masses would do? Like, I don't think that all those black people in Dominica would just let you take over their country and turn it into Neo-Cuba, bruh.
Trading posts should not have been built on my continent anyway.
Alright, Kraut.
Yes, I'm going now.
What the fuck are y'all running away for? See?
I faint in the harder struggle. Feel a looming darkness over our hope.
I'll attack. I'll do it. Attack! I'll attack. What is your command? I'm going now. I'm ready. Attack! I'm ready. Right. What is... Yeah.
Going now. I'm yes.
Love them gum towns.
Así será. Fuego.
This is certainly a fucking protracted war.
¿Cuáles son mis blancos?
I'm ready. Attack! What is... Yes. What is right? I'll do it. Yes, I'm going now. I'll do it. I'm ready. I'll attack.
Prende la mecha.
Our foe has claimed the buildings he needs to win. What is your must rise and answer him at once.
What is your command?
Yes. What is your... I'm going now. I'll attack.
You sons of bitches.
I'm ready. Attack! Attack! What is your command? Right.
I faint in the harder struggle. Feel a looming
ready.
darkness over
I'll
our
do
hope.
it. Yes. I'm going now.
¡Listos para disparar! ¡Ataca!
What is your command? I'll attack.
¡Comandante!
I'm ready. Attack!
¡Listos para disparar!
I'll attack. Attack! I'll attack.
Comandante, adelante. Vayamos.
What is your command? What is... I'll do it. I'm going now. Right. I'm going now. Right. I'll do it. I'm going now. Yes. Attack!
What is your right?
Estoy adelante. Ándale.
Yes. I'll do it.
What is I'll do it. Right.
Comandante, adelante. Vayamos. ¿Cuáles son mis blancos? Ándale. Vayamos.
¿Cuáles son mis blancos? ¡Listos!
I'm ready. I'm going now. What is your command? I'm ready.
¡Listos para disparar!
Yes, I'm learning what happens when you go on the defensive. Ay, Dios mío.
What is your right? I'm ready. What is your command? I'll do it. Yes, I'm going now.
What is your right?
The
What is
enemy
your
has
command?
enough buildings to claim victory. We must conspire
right.
to prevent this.
I'll attack. Yes, I'll do it. What is your command? I'm going now.
Yes. I'll do it.
I'm ready. Attack! Right. I'll attack.
What is your company going now?
¿Cuáles son mis blancos? Así será.
Yes. I'm ready. Attack! is your command? Yes, I'm going now. What is your... I'll do it. Yes. I'm going now.
Comandante.
¡Listos para disparar! ¡Fuego!
I'll do it.
You know what? If the Krauts want this desert shithole, they can have it. I've been at this shit for... Jesus Christ. You know what?